I was listening to some radio stations, and one in particular, they had a guy call in, made me start thinking about something. The guy called in and said that they were talking about some medical solutions that a lot of people have been taking for decades. I took it when I was a kid. A lot of kids take them now today too, without being specific. I've got tetracycline stains. If you want to be specific about something, that's something that I have because my mom was told to take tetracycline while she was pregnant. So I have tetracycline stains on my teeth. That's just one example. This guy they had called in this radio station said that he had a child that's older now that's been coping with something because their child was injured by a normal procedure, application of medicine that is given to all kinds of kids all over. And it harmed their kid and made them different from when they were younger, when they were first born. It made them totally different. And they were coping with it and doing okay, but it made them not want to do that to their younger kid, which is like 7 now, I think is what he said on the radio. And this is just somebody talking, okay, so I don't know who it was. But they said that their 7-year-old now doesn't get sick, hasn't gotten sick, never gotten sick, except for maybe a sniffle for a day or so, but that's about it. They're not as sickly as the older child was from that point when they did something and the child was noticeably different and forward. And that got me thinking because, I have an older brother who died at the last of last year. And I remember my mom and dad telling me that he had developed some things at an early age. And myself, when I was young, I was anemic and otherwise healthy kid, but man, I was a handful and was subsequently diagnosed in like the 8th grade of ADHD and given drugs for that. I just wonder, you don't know the difference. See, that's the thing. You and I don't know the difference. We don't know how different it is to feel. You can tell the difference if you've ever been an alcoholic or hooked on drugs. You can tell the big difference once you're sober of how you were when you were on that drug or hooked on alcohol or whatever and got back sober. You can tell there's a big difference, but you wonder, or I wonder, how big a difference it would be if we hadn't been given certain medications from day one practically. And my generation was only given a few of those. This generation is given a lot of those. And I don't have to say what it is. If you don't know what it is, you probably couldn't care less anyway. Okay? But if you know what I'm talking about, without me being specific, I would say that you're not going to know if it happened to you because all you know is what you know. If anything happened back then, it was like, well, it's probably the genetics. Some people have certain genetics that make them react differently. Now, how are you going to check that? That's kind of like me. I'm an auditor. I used to do some audits, and if I told somebody, well, that's part of the auditing code, no one's going to go back and look at that. No one's going to really go look at that. They're going to take my word for it. That's the same way we do with doctors and have done with doctors for years, right? How are you going to know? How are you going to know? It's like scales have been taken off my eyes in the past few years. And this revelation after revelation comes to me. There was a scripture I was reading yesterday. It was talking about Yahushua, Jesus. Yahushua was in the temple and he drove the money changers out of the temple. He said, that's, you don't do that in my Father's house. Well, if you follow Yahushua, what is it? We are the temple now, right? And it just dawned on me yesterday, we've had money changers in our temple for quite a while because we were either persuaded, pushed, nudged, cajoled, mandated, or whatever to be able to go to school or do certain things, you had to have certain things. Or, you may have an exemption. And it's funny that the Amish have some of the healthiest kids. They don't have certain things like autism in their population. That's odd, isn't it? And of course, they don't do anything that the world wants them to do either. They don't go and take preventive medications and different things. Yeah, I'm glad these scales have been falling off my eyes for the past few years, because I would do things a lot differently now. I would say be very careful. Don't just trust everybody if you're a new parent, is my opinion. Look into things, make sure, because it's your decision as a parent to have anything given or done to your child. And that's just what was on my mind this morning. Please subscribe, like, share, help get the algorithms out. I hope that we can give it a good discussion going on this at some point. There seems to be a lot now going on. I'd like to get into sugars too, because there's a lot of doctors I've been seeing here lately that have been talking about how sugar is the main culprit in a lot of our diseases. That'll be the next time. Have a good one.